Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time from Derek. Thank you so much for that. If those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, randomness, whatever, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box, and this is for a film called Twin Dragons, starring Jackie Chan. Now it's from technically 1992, but got re-released in the US in 1999, give or take, with a new dub, with Jackie Chan dubbing the two main characters. And I think they cut about 15 minutes out of the movie. Now, back in the early 90s, this was directed by two guys, Tsui Hark and Ringo Lam. Funny enough, both directors that would work with Jean-Claude Van Damme, which is more ironic because this plot's kind of a lesser version of Jean-Claude Van Damme's film Double Impact about twins. And one's in over here and one's over here. And they're different upbringing. Yeah, separated when they were babies. They're brought back together. But I do think Double Impact is a way better movie than this. Because I think, honestly, Van Damme did a better acting performance. There's a better differentiating. You could see the difference, not just physically, but acting-wise between the two, Alex and Chad. And I thought it was more consistently action-packed. Although this film does have a pretty fun finale in this vehicle testing center. And I was mentioning the directors, like Ringo Lam would go on to direct Van Damme in Maximum Risk, in Hell and Replicant, and then Joy Hark would do Double Team and Knockoff, which I enjoy all those films. Granted, to different degrees, but I like them. And it's something about these two directors made this film for some kind of benefit for the Directors Guild over there, and the proceeds would go to that. I don't know how that all entails, how that all happens. But I think Choi Hark had said that Ringo Lam directed most of the action. If that's the case, then Ringo Lam, any of the good stuff, Ringo Lam deserves the praise. I guess Choi Hark, I don't know what he was doing. Because the setup is a bit weird. Is in a hospital with twins being born, this crook comes in, takes one of the babies to use a hostage, escapes. When he lands, the baby lands in a wheelchair, and then a cop chases after him. And I guess he either didn't notice or maybe he did notice, but there's a wheelchair with the baby. A car's coming at him. He literally kicks the wheelchair, and I'm like, I get that he was kicking it out of the way of the car, but I'm like, you're still kicking it so hard, the wheelchair goes off and goes down the fucking hill. I'm like, that is, or that's still I still think the cop fucked up as well. That's what I'm saying. And all this flashback is done in black and white. I'm talking about the American version, which I think most people who see this, that's the version they would see, so that's the version I'm talking about. It's in black and white. The dubbing is fairly bad. It's fairly bad dubbing. And the kid that was in that wheelchair, that baby gets picked up by a prostitute and raised in Hong Kong, while the other goes to America and is raised with a loving family. And then it cuts to modern time where the one who lived in Hong Kong, Boomer, he's on the streets and he has his little buddy named Tyson, and they do either these cons or they fight thugs in a bar, while the other guy is a piano player. He does concerts. He's in New York and he goes to Hong Kong for some benefits, for a concert. And there's some decent action. Jackie Chan's Boomers fighting these thugs in a bar. There's some decent action choreography there. Jackie Chan using the TV to block stuff. He uses a coat to put over himself to cover someone smashing a plate of glass on him. And they're trying to rescue this girl. and then they owe money to these bad guys. Meanwhile, the other twin, he's in this concert. But again, whether because of the dubbing or just, I just think Double Impact had a more hard-hitting story where you see the parents get brutally murdered and the babies get separated because of that. And Van Damme, people made fun of his acting, but I think he did a better acting job than Jackie Chan. And also the idea, like, okay, they would look different, and they would dress different. Here, Jackie Chan will look the same, with like the same haircut, and at times wear the same clothes, which is very convenient. And just, what's the point of having two Jackie Chans then? Like, that's kind of what it comes down to, the issue with this. It's fun to watch because you get to see some fun Jackie Chan action stunt work. There's a decent boat chase where Boomer and his buddy are in a boat and they're being chased, and one boat cascades over, explosion, one boat jumps off and is sliding on the road. Did some decent stuff. By hell, I saw that in the Transporter 2 later on. I've seen that in James Bond movies. I've seen that in Amsterdam, pretty good slasher with a damn good boat chase. I wouldn't even put that boat chase above this one, weirdly enough, and that's a slasher film. Yeah, it's called Amsterdam. A pretty interesting slasher talks about. Again, that boat chase is pretty damn good. It would work for like a James Bond movie. Well, anyway, going back to this. Idea with Double Impact, you have the two Van Dammes. There's even a point that they fight each other. There's a point that they actually don't like each other. Then they form this bond throughout. There's an actual story behind that, and then one get revenge for the death of their parents. And then again, one is with guns. One's more of a martial artist. One's got long hair. One's got a shaved head. Physically, acting-wise, one's more fun and goofy and got black silk underwear. The other is, I'm going to fuck up his face. And yeah, I'm drunk, so I'll be sober. And I'm saying this line because it's in the movie. I think the way Van Damme delivers it is funny. Yeah, I'm drunk. Tomorrow I'll be sober. But you'll always be a faggot. It's the way Van Damme says that. He's committed to his performance. That's what I'm getting at. Oh, I said a bad word. Yeah, it's part of a fucking dialogue of a movie. You got canceled. Yeah, you know what? My favorite TV shows are canceled. This got canceled. Yeah, this got canceled. It was a great TV show. So get canceled, whatever. What I'm getting at is that why Double Impact does a better job. Again, it felt like it had a faster pace. It felt like it had more action. And it felt like it did the twin thing not only better effects-wise, but better utilized into the plot, into what's going on. Here, it's just, there's Jackie, he looks the same. He kind of talks the same, other than the one going, this little snort he does. Yeah, one fights and one doesn't. Okay, you have that going. But there's still not a whole lot of other different stuff. And then they try to do this telepathic thing where when one's playing the piano, the other's fingers are doing this, and he's like, what's going on with that? And that can be inconsistent because it happens when it wants to. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just going off kilter, sometimes it doesn't at all. So even that whole telepathic link thing, it just happens wherever the hell it wants to. And there are times it's trying to be goofy. Like after the boat chase, the bad guy gets hit by a car and he bounces against two vehicles like a ping pong ball. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, okay. And there's points where there's like coincidence, like they're both at a restaurant, but then they're wearing the same clothes. They got the same hair, same everything. So of course people go, there's miscommunication. There's, you think it's that person, but it's that person. Like there's these two girls, but mixed up. They go with the wrong one. And then, yeah, well, I'm like, wait, they both have the same T-shirts, even? Like, come on now. I'm scratching my nose because I'm allergic to this bullshit. Like, this this is a better writing. The fact that they have the same shirt as well as everything, I was like, come on. And then when they meet in the bathroom, and the effects are not the best, because when they're close together, if you look at, okay, imagine it's these two. They're near the bathroom, they find out, they're looking in the mirror. Now when their shoulders touch, there's this flicker effect. There's like this flickering effect. And when they're nearby, you see like little flickers on the edge. And yeah, the effects were not the top notch compared to Double Impact in other movies. So I just like, yeah, it's like that little flickering. Maybe you won't notice. I did, but yeah, if you watch them in the bathroom, you see like where their shoulders, like I swear, like one shoulder like goes to another for like a split second. And then the way they act, they're not going, what the fuck? Wait a minute, I got a twin? How the fuck that happened? They just go, oh, it makes sense now. Yeah, they think I'm you and that you're me. I'm like, but wait a minute, you're not expecting, like, what the fuck? What's going on? Even Double Impact, one headbutted the other, and they're like, look at me, I would never wear black silk underwear. Look at them. And then them kind of studying each other. Like, Double Impact had a better story, dealt with the plot better, as well as made a fun Van Damme action film. And I would say the only thing really worth it in this movie is when the action occurs. And it's fun action. And if you watch the American version, it's 90 minutes long, and when the action set pieces happen, it can be entertaining. And, you know, a fun time waster for that. And yeah, I know I'm not being as picky as I have with other movies, but I guess with Jackie Chan, maybe I just don't expect as much as I should. If Jackie is fun, which I would, this is not one of my favorites of his, it would be stuff like Rumble in the Bronx, Operation Condor, Super Cop, Police Story, Rush Hour 1 and 2, among others. I like Mr. Nice Guy. I like Who Am I? That's an underrated one. No one talks about Who Am I? Mr. Nice Guy, again, that's a fun one. I would put all that above this one. And the Buddy Tyson, maybe, I think it's the way he's dubbed. He was irritating as shit. But I like the finale. The last 15 minutes, I think it's I would say this. If anything, try it on YouTube and find the last 15 minutes of this movie. The finale, which is the vehicle testing center. That's the best part of it. Where you have the two jackies and one can't fight, so he's hiding, the other is fighting. And there's a point where, I don't know what the hell this room is. I guess it's to dry up, like you wash the car. I guess this is the dry up, I don't know, is it dry up the paint after you paint the car? Or is it, it's a vehicle testing site, but it's also something else? It's all these hot red bars around. Is it just to get the water off, or is it a dry paint, or I don't know what it is, but it's an interesting setting because again it's red hot steaming bars around that will burn you, and so Jackie's trying to fight while trying not to get burned and fried and, you know, caught on fire, while on the other side it's all this wetness from the sprinklers being on, so you get this nice difference between the two. And then, you know, the guy doesn't know it, Tyson. They're one of the Jati's buddies, he doesn't know that there's twins, so he gets confused. Wait a minute, how come you're not fighting them? Oh wow, now you're kicking his ass, and one goes the other, and that's when you kind of get in the feel of the twin aspect and some of the fun you could possibly have with it. And then when you get more into the testing side, where you have like the crash test dummy stuff, testing the seatbelt, you get some good Jackie Chan choreography. Like he's in the car, he's able to jump out of the window of the car. They did this nice kick to the face, sweeping of the legs, dodging because he's almost crushed by the cars, because the cars have the car jack on them. And people get it, and Jackie's barely avoiding it. There's a point where a car is going after him, and he jumps up. Really cool looking shot. He jumps up. As that's when the movie comes alive. Granted, I guess it's up to you whether it's good or bad. That the best scene is the ending of the movie. So I guess at least it leaves you with a moment. I guess if there has to be a best scene, it might as well be the end of the movie. It leaves you, at least you're left with a fun impression, while the rest of it is it's there. When the action scene happens, not too bad. Or there's a point where he flips upward before a car crashes. Again, some really nice death-defying stunt work. I give credit to that as well. And there's a point where the fighter, Jackie Chan, is locked in the cage, and with that telepathic link, he's able to move while the other Jackie, who can't fight. If more of the movie was like this finale, I think it would be a better film. But again, for the most part, it seemed like the twin aspect is just more of a gimmick than anything. And yeah, you say Van Damme, that was a gimmick. Twice double the Van damage. But at least within the story, they kind of really worked it out. I think a lot better than this one. So this, I would say, it's not the best Jackie Chan film. It's not in top 10 of Jackie's movies. I do think Double Impact did a better job with the twin aspect in terms of story and how it's utilized. Ringo Lam, he worked on the action. Then Tsui Hark said this. So I don't know what the hell Tsui Hark did. So I would say Ringo Lam is more to give a thumbs up to than Tsui Hark. Again, they don't really seem that surprised that they have a twin, which I thought was weird. The ending is fun. Like I said, I would say if you don't want to watch the whole film, at least watch the ending. Which I'm sure if you type in Twin Dragons on Jackie Chan on YouTube, someone will have uploaded that. You just watch that. I don't even think you need to watch the whole film. I mean, you can. There's worse movies out there. There's worse Jackie Chan films out there. I mean, at least the American version, it was short and fairly fast-paced. But it's nothing of a classic. It's not Legend of Drunken Master or Police Story or any of that. Yeah, it was fun for what it was. Like I said, the finale really helped. If it wasn't for the finale, I would say it's like mediocre. A mediocre Jackie Chan film. The ending makes it, a decent time waster. But like I said, there are much better Jackie. Like I said, Rumble in the Bronx, Operation Condor, Jackie Chan's First Strike, Super Cop, Police Story, Legend of Drunken Master. Like I said, even Rush Hour 1 and 2 I would put above this. Mr. Nice Guy, Who Am I? List goes on. But I would say I liked it more than Robin B. Hood. I liked it more than the fucking one where is it Little Man Big Man or Little Soldier Big Soldier? I forgot what the fuck it was called. I would rather watch this than Police Story 4 or Police Story Lockdown. I'd rather watch this than The Foreigner. I'm sorry, The Foreigner did nothing for me because it was more Pierce Brosnan's movie than Jackie's movie. Jackie felt like he was barely a main character in the movie. That was one of my issues with The Foreigner. The Macy Link's the main character, then he disappears for good chunks of time. Like, where the fuck is Jackie? So, the Ford I thought was disappointing. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'd rather go rewatch Double Impact with Van Damme, but again, it wasn't a struggle to sit through. Like I said, if you like Jackie and you like those kind of films, it's a time waster. So with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.